All right, hey everybody, this is probably the biggest project that we've had yet. I'm so excited about this one. You know, we've had some pretty outlandish builds with tons of lighting, winches, power running boards, all that stuff. Well, this one is gonna probably put all of those to shame. We are doing these, well, let's say this is the first time we're doing these KC lights. We've done a lot of the rigid that comes through the Ford channels. This is through KC. You can see these things are massive. They're gonna put out a shitload of light, and I'm excited to see how they turn out. They come with really awesome plastic KC covers. There is so much more to come on this thing. We're doing custom bumpers, lighting. There's gonna be lighting everywhere, ditch lights, spotlights, those lights, all that stuff. CBs, massive 20-inch wheels. I'm not gonna even tell you about the color of these wheels because they're gonna be wild. All right, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of these wheels because they are freaking incredible, all right? Take a look. I wanted to surprise you, but this is step one, and I'm telling you, this thing's gonna be outlandish. So when you start doing customizations, nothing's perfect. So these are the ADB fiberglass, the rear and the front, the big 5-inch things, and we haven't done any painting or anything like that. We're just trying to make it fit at this point. These things come in imperfect, so there's a lot of modifications. For the kit that's designed to be modified, you got to do a lot of modifications. So we're going to have to design a bracket that's going to hold this in place because it has pressure going in. You got to be able to push back against that, or else it's just going to fly loose. Same thing up here, too far in. So we have to design a bracket that's going to hold it away from the car, or it'll just never fit. It'll actually be loose. This piece right here, this guy, as you can see, is not anywhere close. So we're going to actually have to cut on this to make it fit. So when you start saying, hey man, I like that, you see an Instagram photo or whatever, you can't just say, order me that stuff and make it work. There's really a lot of work that goes involved, but we're gonna make it look right, and we're gonna make it done the right way. Well, if you ever wanted to see into the skin of a Bronco, here's your chance. So this is basically underneath. It's amazing when you remove the side fender flares, kind of what you see. What you see is what you get. All the internal components, structural components. I find it funny that the window washer reservoir is over here. That's kind of different. But kind of a fun little look inside, and it goes to show you the effort when we're doing these fiberglass panels. They're not just, okay, here you go. There is a lot of customization, fit and finish that you have to do on these. You have to kind of put them up there, figure out how they're gonna fit. Then you have to start trimming and blocking and sanding and all this stuff. It's a lot of effort to make it top quality, because we won't do anything that's not top quality. So this is kind of in the middle stages. They are doing priming, blocking, sanding, and it will be going to paint because it's going to look perfect when we're finished with it. But this is just kind of a fun look at what a Bronco looks like without fenders. All right, parts comparison time. So control arms. When we're lifting it, if you go as high as 3.5 to 4 inch, you need a different control arm because the geometry changes. Now this is a factory Bronco control arm. It's made of aluminum. You know, it's all for weight savings, essentially. It's certainly strong, but it's not as strong as what you need to be, certainly when you lift it. So this is a FabTech 4-inch control arm for their lift kit, and you can't feel it, but this is much, much heavier. First of all, it's steel, it's not aluminum, and you can just see the difference in what you're getting. So you're just making it more robust. Speaking of, on this particular build, we are replacing the axles because we don't believe that the factory axle setup is going to be strong enough, because this is getting 20-inch wheels with 37-inch tires. That's a lot of rolling weight, so we're going to upgrade the axles to give it a little bit more robust setup. We don't want to be snapping these things. All right, so speaking of seriously huge hardware, 20-inch wheels, 37-inch Nitto Trail Grappler tires. We had a little bet on how much this setup weighed, and I was the closest. I said over 100. This is 124 pounds each wheel and tire. All right, so when you're talking about needing new axles, when you have 2 wheels and tires on the front, it's not just the weight of that. When they turn, the torque that it puts on there, when that is rotation, it's like rotating like this, it's exponential. So it's not just having to support 125 pounds, it's the force of that going down the road and rotating at an angle. And you can imagine when you have this going 80 miles an hour and it turns, it's putting a huge amount of force on that axle. So that's the reason we're upgrading it. Okay, time to get a rare glimpse into the bowels of the Bronco. So this is an ongoing build that we have going on. This is pretty much our ultimate Bronco. We are doing just about anything you can think of to this one. What we're in the process of doing right now is we're putting a programmer in for the speedo and a calibration of the computers, and also we're putting in a tuner that's going to up the horsepower on this thing. That also is going to get new spark plugs. This particular one has an oil catch pan and an increased breather and a lot of different things that we're doing to up the horsepower on this bad boy. So it's really going to turn out pretty good, but you can see how this ends up when you start talking about customizations of these things. It's not like plug and play on almost everything that we do. There is tons of wiring, tons of disassembly, tons of things to get it right. You know, there's the easy way and there's the right way. We always do it the right way, and this is the result. All right, so now we get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty of when you do real deal customization. So the wheels here that we've already shown you, you actually have two different blues going on here. You kind of have this really amazingly gorgeous anodized blue right here that I think is amazing. Hopefully you can see on camera, but in person, the shine on that is truly remarkable. And then in the middle, you got a little bit of a different blue here. Now, what we're gonna do customize-wise, in addition to this, is the hood scoop. There's an air intake that we're actually gonna paint blue that's gonna offset that white. And we can do a couple different things. These Bronco letters are going on the front. This is the factory original color of Velocity Blue. So this is the Ford factory Velocity Blue, which, as you can see, is probably not the exact same shade as that, but pretty close. But since this is gonna be on the front of the vehicle, and then that top of that hood is gonna be right there in that same line of sight, it's best to match this blue right here so it shows you that continuity. So these are the choices that you have to make everything look as professional as possible. So we're gonna go with this blue. All right, so what we're doing here is this is what's called guide coding. So Brad here is our body expert and paint expert. So what you do when you guide coat is you spray, it's like a can, you spray all over here. And when you start sanding, this black shows up on places that are low spots, pinholes.
See this right here?
What do you got there?
This right here is where it's still low and you can still see the black. Now I'll finish sanding it, it'll go away, and then it'll be real smooth.
So now you know you have a smooth surface. So visually, it's impossible to see the imperfections unless you go through this process. The thing about these fiberglass things is they're notorious for uneven surfaces. They require a ton of sanding to get right. Like I've said 100 times, we want this to be perfect. So you see a lot of these customizations when you get these fiberglass things, they just paint it, throw it on there. In a photo, yeah, you know, oh man, that's cool. Well, if they didn't go through this process, when you come up on that thing in person, you're gonna be like, yeah, that doesn't look quite right. Well, we don't want that. We want it to be perfect. So we take the extra time, we do the extra process, and we make sure this is professional quality because we got a professional guy. All right, so now we got Brad in here. He's about to start the painting process. There's a lot of steps to this. You don't just spray it on. Right now, he's blowing everything off, making sure there's no debris. Everybody knows, you ever heard the phrase trash in your paint? Well, this is what he's preventing. He's got to blow everything off so you don't get little itty bitty little specks of whatever, dust or anything under there. So he's going to blow everything off, then he's going to start with the base. So let's watch.
I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. This paint takes 4 toners. There's the toners that we mix it from right here. Here's the white. That's most of it takes. I'll mix up some up here in a little bit. It's got white, yellow, 440 in it, and the trace red. You wouldn't think a white has all that in it, but it does. I'm just checking for spots in my mist that's not covered, and if it's not fully covered, I go back and throw a little bit more white on it.
All right, so we have less than 2 hours until the client gets here. He's drove into Nashville last night. He's spending the weekend there, coming up to pick up the Bronco, going back to Nashville. But he's gonna be here at noon. It's about 10:20, and we just got everything together. This is when you do these things, you gotta sometimes get in time crunches, but she's ready. So we're sneaking in some last little action footage and getting some nature photos here so we can display this thing. And then we're gonna go back and wash it up, make it look pretty, and we'll show you the final product. Park police, let's get out of here. All right. Wait. Gotta hit number 6. We got a bear in the air following a badass Bronco at the park. Somebody give me a 1-4, 2-4. All right, so let's figure out what these switches do. Auxiliary 1, what's that do?
It's bright.
All right, let's figure out number 2. All right, number 3. All right, number 4. 5. Whoa! I guess you heard that one. Air compressor. Number 6. Breaker 19. We got a bear in the air. I think we got a little Easter egg on the fog lights. Let's see.
That would be awesome to see. Whoa.
Oh wow. Those badges look nice.
Yes. It does.
What do you think, John?
Oh wow. Came out
Take a look.
nice. Those wheels, those pictures don't do it justice.
No, they don't. They do not.